Ride out with me. Ride out and meet them.
For death and glory.
Yes!
Let this be the hour when we draw swords together.
What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. Sometimes it's nice to just know that you're living through history and you'll be able to tell your grandkids that you saw a billionaire from New York who was the host of Celebrity Apprentice go and run for president against the most evil political family in American history, the Clintons, win, and then unite with another great anti-establishment dynasty, the Kennedys, and save America again. It's just like a story directly out of a storybook, out of a Hollywood script. And I can't wait to see the Hollywood movie happening right now as Robert F. Kennedy endorses Donald Trump yesterday in one of the most important speeches I think ever given in American history. I think it's one of the top 5 political speeches in American history. This is one of the most consequential speeches I have ever heard in many years, says Bill Ackman, billionaire. He says that he's entirely correct and we can make an enormous difference in the nation's decline. Now, we had just been at the DNC. We were traveling yesterday, and minds just completely blown about what we saw with RFK and his speech. And I encourage you, if you haven't seen it, to go back and rewatch it. But hot damn, did they have something even better planned. Democrat elites spent hundreds of millions of dollars on a propaganda convention, leveraged every celebrity and musician they control, strong-armed every media company into grotesque pandering coverage of their illegitimate cringe Muppet. Cringe Muppet. I like that. RFK Jr. just atomized all of it in seconds. It's gone. All right. It's gone. And what was it replaced with? Ooh, baby. Unity. A Kennedy endorses Donald Trump. Kennedy endorses a Republican. Just when you thought you'd seen it all, here we go again. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was what was awaiting President Trump and RFK Jr. in Arizona. It's an amazing event. There were 35,000 people there. This is in a swing state. This is in the same arena that Kamala Harris had to pull giant blackout curtains over the top 2 rows of the arena, top 2 levels of the arena, had to black it out. Okay. And Kamala Harris considered that a win. Look at this, standing room only, and another 20,000 patriots outside. This is what it looked like 2 hours before President Trump took the stage. When President Trump took the stage, what those people were waiting for, well, let me tell you what, it didn't disappoint. Watch this.
He's very low key. He's a very low-key person, but he's highly respected. He is a great person. I've known him for so long. For the past 16 months, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And he deserves it. He deserves it.
This is the stuff that legends are made of. This is unbelievably epic. This walkout, this is better than anything that the DNC did all of the nights combined. They had 4 nights. This is all 4 nights of the DNC combined. Like, this took, swagger jacked all the energy away from it. This was so much more awesome. There's nothing that even compared at the DNC to this. Just wild. So what was recommended on stage? How did these 2 men act on stage? I mean, look like old friends, right? Donald Trump says he will be conducting an independent presidential commission on assassination attempts, and he's going to make sure that no president gets assassinated ever again. This is obviously something that the Kennedys care a lot about.
I can't even believe I have to say this. Nearly assassinated in Pennsylvania last month. Bobby called me to express his best wishes. He knows firsthand the risks incurred by leaders who stand up to the corrupt political establishment. When you stand up, you bring on some trouble for yourself, but you have to do what's right. You have to do what's right for the country. I will tell you, we are both in this to do what's right for the country. That's one thing I can tell you. He lost his father and uncle in service to our country, and Bobby himself was subject to repeated threats to his safety during the course of his campaign while being denied protection by the Harris-Biden administration. And this is a tribute in honor of Bobby. I am announcing tonight that upon my election, I will establish a new independent presidential commission on assassination attempts. And they will be tasked with releasing all of the remaining documents pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
Baby, this is how legends are made. Look at the crowd, the audience. We'll play you RFK's speech in just a second. Last night, Kamala Harris mentioned my name 21 times, says Donald Trump. She didn't mention inflation. She didn't mention the border. She didn't mention anything but my name over and over and over again. It's not a real campaign that they are running. It's just a seething Trump hatred club. That is what the Democrat Party has descended into. Removed from the ballot, denied Secret Service protection, slandered by the media, raided by the FBI, indicted 91 criminal counts, censored by big tech, nearly assassinated. And here they stand together. One team. What a shot, man. What an image. Just amazing. It's not AI. Just incredible. I say it's not AI. No one was paid to be here. No one was bussed in from out of town, and no one was twerking. The stadium of 35,000 real people in a swing state celebrating the largest political dynasties on earth, uniting to destroy the corrupt establishment. What a night. Now, the responses to all of this have been remarkable. So many people that would never, ever wanted to vote for Trump now taking Trump's side. I started out with a strong dislike of Trump, and now even less of a fan of the DNC, their lies and anti-democratic actions. I never imagined I'd be the outcome, started with Robert Kennedy Jr., but 100% now I'm here. I'm here. People saying they would never thought they'd vote for RFK. People sending photos, right? Still so hard to believe that my father, the same guy who used to send me anti-Trump messages on the daily in Trump's first term, is now a pro-Trump. Bro called them the Deathocratic Party. The people are getting people are getting red pilled at a degree that no one has ever, at a rate that nobody has ever seen before. RFK Jr. went from seeing his father murdered by his own government, pushed through the addiction and faced deplatforming, and finally saw the buzzsaw of the DNC. May we all be blessed with sons like RFK Jr. Oh, by the way, they're going to tell you that this doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, it really matters. Trump campaign memo on RFK's exit and what it means. It means that Donald Trump gets net 25%, 13%, 2%, 36%, 50%. In all of these various states, Donald Trump is now up by a mile because RFK Jr. has dropped completely off the ballot in swing states, where he could serve as a spoiler. President Trump sharing multiple posts from us, always an honor. Strongest anti-establishment ticket in American history, right here. There you go. Okay, well, without further ado, here's Robert F. Kennedy's speech last night at the rally in Arizona, a historic moment. Let's go.
So, Bobby, please say a few words. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, President Trump. A few hours after the assassination attempt at Butler, I got a call from a safe food advocate named Kelly Means, who's been fighting for many years to try to end the corruption at CDC and FDA and USDA. And these institutions, these regulatory agencies are actually run by the big food processing companies, the big ag and the chemical companies that they're supposed to regulate. And he said to me that he'd been advising me for many years on my campaign. And he told me that night that he was also advising President Trump. And he asked if I would talk to President Trump. And I said, of course. And about a few minutes later, I got a call from the president. And we talked. We had a very good talk. And then he invited me to come see him the next day. And I went to Minneapolis and saw him. We met again a couple of weeks later in Florida. And we talked about, not about the things that separate us because we don't agree on everything, but on the values and the issues that bind us together. And one of the issues that he talked about was having safe food and ending the chronic disease epidemic. Our children are now the unhealthiest, sickest children in the world. Don't you want healthy children? And don't you want the chemicals out of our food? And don't you want the regulatory agencies to be free from corporate corruption? And that's what President Trump told me that he wanted. He also told me that he wanted to end the grip of the neocons on U.S. foreign policy. He said he didn't want any more $200 billion wars in Ukraine, that we could use that money back here in the United States. And the safest, the best way to build a safe America is to rebuild our industrial base and rebuild the middle class in this country. And don't you want a president who's going to get us out of the wars and who's going to rebuild the middle class in this country? And he told me that he wanted to end the censorship because the whole basis of American democracy is the free flow of information. And we know that a government that can silence its opponents has license for any kind of atrocity. And can you think of any time that you can look back in history and say that the people who were censoring were the good guys? They're always the bad guys, because it's always the first step down that slippery slope to totalitarianism. And don't you want a president who's going to protect America's freedoms? And who is going to protect us against totalitarianism? And I want to ask you again, don't you want a safe environment for your children? Don't you want to know that the food that you're feeding them is not filled with chemicals that are going to give them cancer and chronic disease? And don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again? Thank you all very, very much, and God bless you, and God bless America.